last episode, we discussed what I would do with the first two movies of the third Sonic the Hedgehog trilogy. Today, we'll conclude the third trilogy of Sonic movies by talking about Sonic the Hedgehog 9. The movie starts with what we'll call Team Sonic: Sonic, Tails, Amy, Bernadette, Jules, Chuck, Sonia, and Manic, journeying all over Mobius to find the kingdom. You see, in their evacuation and hiding, Sonic's family lost track of where the kingdom even was. Before I tell you what happens next, I want to retcon something from last episode, that being that Mutski's also there with the group. I forgot to mention him last time. As for his backstory, we could just say that the same thing that happened to Jules, Bernadette, and Chuck happened to Mutski. In the past, he was a regular dog before getting experimented on by Eggman and Longclaw bringing him into Mobius, along with Jules, Bernadette, and Chuck. They could also go with the approach of having Mutski just be a regular dog that was taken to Mobius along with Jules, Bernadette, and Chuck because he found them interesting and jumped through the portal to Mobius with them. Whatever the case, Mutski's here. I forgot to mention something else last time as well. Why Jules is roboticized. He's roboticized because Eggman fatally wounded him as the family was escaping the kingdom. A pit stop that the family took soon after they left the kingdom was a small town where Jules could be healed up. Chuck, using materials kindly lent to the family by the city's residents, creates a roboticizer. This machine plates the person who's inside its body with armor, so that fatal injuries won't kill them. Anyways, back to the pitch. The first part of this movie is going to focus on the many different locations that the family travels through. These locations will mostly be fan service, stuff like places from the Archie and Fleetway comics. Although I won't go into everything here, I will say that the most important location that they go to on their travels is Knothole. Yes, Team Sonic meets the Freedom Fighters who explain that Eggman's destroyed most of Knothole. Wanting justice for what Eggman did to them, they join Team Sonic on their travels. The Freedom Fighters lead the way to Eggman as Nicole has a pretty big sector of Mobius mapped out. The group makes it to the kingdom and the final battle begins. It's a gigantic fight, full of fan service and action. It takes place throughout the entire kingdom. During the battle, there's also a bunch of Archie and Fleetway characters thrown in the fray. There will even be characters owned by Ken Penders, with them being bought back from him, of course. Heck, there could even be other characters from different American or Japanese extended media. The reason why all of these characters are here, I really don't have a great explanation for. Some of them could have been added to the party throughout Team Sonic's adventures, through multiple locales, or through the Freedom Fighters just calling them as their help is needed in this final battle. The heroes may have a lot of help, but don't think that Eggman isn't prepared himself. He's got all, or at least most, of the Eggman lackeys we've seen throughout the Sonic series' history. Also, at some point in the final battle, Sonic is launched out of Mobius and into Chris Thorndyke's house somewhere on Earth. The idea being that Sonic has to run back to the battle. Anyways, the intense battle continues and is finally concluded when Sonic and Co. destroy the remaining Eggman bodies that Eggman has and defeats the Mad Doctor himself. And well, after that, the movie's pretty much over. Sonic's family take back control of the kingdom and Sonic, Amy, and Tails return back to Earth. There's a post-credits scene in this movie. It reveals to us that Eggman isn't dead. He managed to transfer his consciousness into one body that miraculously hadn't been destroyed. With his factories for making extra bodies destroyed, however, he'll have to settle with only being in one body and not making copies of himself. With this third Sonic movie trilogy now over, I think that now's a good time to talk about any changes made to these film pitches from when I originally thought them up. I'll try to move through these pretty fast. Originally, the Sonic 06 adaptation didn't have Eggman 2 in it. He was at first supposed to be introduced in Sonic the Hedgehog 8 in Mobius. The original games present in the Sonic the Hedgehog 8 opening montage were the advanced games and colors. Although I don't remember this point perfectly, I think that Eggman 2 might have been from a different universe, with Sonic himself exploring a different universe instead of Mobius. Basically, the entire first part of the movie has nothing to do with the original. Sonic originally figured out about his parents sooner. Maybe it was Eggman that told him. It was probably either in the Sonic 06 adaptation or earlier in Sonic 8. At some point during Sonic's origin, memory wipes may have happened. As for Sonic 9, at first the Freedom Fighters were originally to be introduced in an arc in the movie tie-in comic. This arc in the comic would have been an adaptation of Sonic Forces. Also, it was originally more of a complete pitch as opposed to the broad synopsis I gave you today to save time. Anyways, that's all for today's episode. I'll see you next time for the next episode of S.T.H.M.I, where we'll discuss the next trilogy of Sonic the Hedgehog movies.